Mokhaitsu, good morning. This is the Pan-African Morning News right here on Galaxy Universal Network. And of course, we are on channel 500. And I'd like to say to you this morning, Sabah al-Khair. Now that is good morning in Morocco. Now the relationship between Morocco and South Africa has always been strong. And Nelson Mandela stayed between 1960 and 1962 in Morocco, mainly in Oujda, where he received pioneer political and financial support and military training. Now, in his inauguration speech of the first democratic government in 1994, Mandela praised the late King Hassan II for his financial and military support to the ANC fighters. And however, Morocco was the first foreign supporter to hand over arms to Mandela's organization. And now today, this morning, Sabah al-Khair, we are joined by the Moroccan ambassador in South Africa, Ntate Youssef Amrani. Mr. Amrani pledged to deepen diplomatic ties with the country to spark inclusive development across Africa. Ambassador, welcome to the Pan-African Morning Show.
Sabah al-Khair.
Sabah al-Khair.
Sani Bonani.
Sanibonani ninjani?
Niya jabula.
Nathi siyajabula nawe. Siyajabula ukubona lapha ku Pan-African Morning Show.
That's great, Ambassador. That's great. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us on Pan-African Morning. It's quite a great pleasure to have you today on the show. And I mean, while we were still behind the scenes, you actually did mention that we always meet you on quite very important days in Morocco.
Exactly, Sisanda. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here today in your program. I think that it's I really appreciate your program, your show. I know your program now is broadcasting all over Africa, and
yes.
I wish a lot of success because you have a very able team and think you have an ambition to succeed. The point I was going to raise with you, two beautiful ladies this morning, is I'm very happy because we are not only celebrating our National Day tomorrow, but we are also celebrating a very important feast, religious feast, which is Al-Eid al-Adha, which is the end of the peregrination to Mecca, but also what we call the feast of sacrifice of Abraham and Ismail. And you know the history is in the three monotheist religion. So the second point I wanted to make is with Mrs. Sisanda. It is the second time I'm seeing her in a program, and both of them were on the religious celebration feast. The first one was the end of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, and today. So I think she's member, or maybe I am the member of a wider family that share the same values of love, of empathy and solidarity.
No, definitely, I concur with that. Today we are meeting, of course, that Morocco will be celebrating, I think tomorrow as well, will be celebrating the National Independence Day. This is when King Mohammed took over the reins and now have run. I mean, since many years back at the moment, King Mohammed VI have been working quite very hard in promoting peace and security in Morocco. In your understanding, what difference do you think that the monarch is making in the lives of the citizens of Morocco?
Okay, thank you very much. It is what we are celebrating, in fact, is the enthronement of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, his accession to the throne.
Yes.
It is Morocco, as you know, is a very old country.
Yes.
This dynasty has more than 6 centuries of existence, and our monarchy is about 12 centuries. Imagine. So we are a long and very old monarchy in the North Africa. So today, once again, the Moroccans show their commitment to work with the king towards not only deepening our democratic system, but moving forward. Because in these difficult times of Corona, as you can see in South Africa and elsewhere, we need to be together. We need to have a good leadership in order to implement the good policy. And today, let me say something. I was always frank with you. We need strong leadership.
Yes.
We need vision.
Yes.
And we need commitment, which we cannot today afford. One country alone cannot afford to face this pandemic. So we have a lot of work is ahead of us, and you, as people of the media, have a very important role to play to raise awareness, on very important issues.
Yes.
So for us, the king is continuing. He was courageous to take drastic and robust measures to fight the pandemic. And the priority in his policy is the human being.
Yes.
Because sometimes we had to make some sacrifices,
Of
some
course.
concessions as far as the economic building.
Yes.
But the human being is important. And we, in Africa,
Yes.
we have to give the priority to human being, to women, and to the young generation. This is our future.
Yeah, talking of women, I mean, we all know that in most of the Northeast and the Western African countries, women have been quite very much marginalized, and that hasn't been the case more in Morocco. What is it that you believe that a role of women is supposed to be in the society?
The role of women is crucial today. In Morocco, we have introduced gender equality in our constitution.
Yes.
It was very important for Muslim and Arab country to put this. Women play very, very important role. And today, as you are asking me this question about the role of women, I want to say one point, if you allow me, about the issue of the gender-based violence.
Yes.
I think we men and women should work together. I have been approached by different important, prominent personalities in South Africa, how we can help and contribute not only to raise awareness, but we need to fight and to work together in order to put an end to this gender-based violence, and especially in this pandemic. We did that before. I personally, when I was minister, I raised this question within the Security Council, but it was a different issue. It was an issue on sexual violence against women in armed conflict. We need to continue, and the women today play in a very important, because they are playing a role in building the economies and building the country, but also in educating the young generation.
Yes.
And this is, I think, is the most important, because the lack of education in our African countries should be today and tomorrow a priority.
Well, His Excellency, you're here now in South Africa, in our country. I want to understand, what brings you here exactly, and what would you like South Africans to learn about Morocco or Moroccan people? The same vice versa. What should we learn from you?
Well, my mission here has 3 dimensions. The first dimension is to strengthen the political dialogue between Morocco and South Africa at the bilateral level, what you say, but also at the level of the African Union, because we are 2 countries member of the African Union. And I think today one of our priorities is to build up audacious and prosperous Africa. And we, Morocco and South Africa, are important countries, and we can work together. My second mission is how to do business, economic, because at the end of the day, what counts, what is important is how much job do you create and how much growth you promote, and we need this badly. And the third one, people sometimes they don't understand it, but for me it is also a priority, is people to people interaction. We need to have our women, our artists, our musicians to join the movement and to work together to bring to build a strong relationship between South Africa and Morocco. We have a common history. Morocco was one of the founding fathers of the African Union, and today we need to work together to not only to reshape, to reinforce the African Union, because we need tools today, because we cannot continue like this. We cannot continue this. We need good governance, we good policies, robust actions, because we are now living the pandemic, but tomorrow we have no choice. We need to build up a strong and resilient Africa that can cope and face the challenges, migration, terrorism, and so on. So I think what we need is, as I say in the beginning, this vision, but we need the tools. The tools are we, the people, the leadership, and how we could cope with this difficulty, because Corona will continue to be with us. Our economies have been impacted, and you see yesterday, South Africa, we are South Africa, South Africa has requested support from the IMF, because we have to build the economy and we have to take this action. And one, for me personally, people, I think I wrote it in this paper today in the Star, we need to build an Africa of health. Because we have to protect our people, our women, our young generation against all kind of discrimination, all kind of pandemics, because these are our assets, African, compared to others. And that's why we could play a role at the level of the international forum.
Yes.
And we have to be very clear. Today, we need also to review the international instrument, the Security Council, the WTO, even WHO are not instruments that serve the interests of Africa. And we need to influence, we need to be able to weigh on this international debate.
Yes, Your Excellency, if we look into now His Excellency King Mohammed VI, he has, gotten himself or got an initiative of working with 15 sister African countries where they are joining hands in fighting the COVID-19, and we know that at the moment also Morocco has been quite struggling with COVID-19. What do you believe is a role of Morocco as a country in the fight against COVID-19 in an African continent as a whole?
Yes, since the beginning, we had two tracks.
Yes.
The national track and the African solidarity track.
Yes.
We were the first country, and maybe we have supported 20 African countries. We have sent in planes all over Africa with our masks, gels, sanitizer, and medicine to fight COVID. So we did it because we believe, because thanks to the leadership of the king, and he said, Africa is the priority, we have to help our African brothers.
Yes.
And we did this. And I think this was well appreciated, and we'll continue to work because solidarity is in our DNA also. And we need to, not to help, but to accompany, to support our African brothers and sisters in their national endeavors, because they have their own policies. We are count as added value for their sovereign actions towards. So we showed our solidarity. And at the level internally in Morocco, I think we did, thanks God today, we don't have too much cases, but we started first, drastic measures, because we had the king who decided 3 levels. One, the first levels is he gave the priority to health. To health, to premium, to save its population through building up of hospitals, new hospitals, bringing even the military, because you have a very good experience in military hospitals, and we did this. 2, we closed the borders, all the drastic measures, and then we have created financially a big fund to help the most deprived people. We have to give them money because they lost their jobs, and we did this, and also to help the companies through incentives to save the business. Thanks God, we were able to control the pandemic, but anyhow, because we are in the north of Africa, we are close to Spain, Italy, France, the European countries the most impacted, and we have a movement of population between Morocco and European countries, so we had to also work on the frontiers and so on. So we were, and I think what I recall from this experience, because 2 elements, the leadership of the king, and 2, the maturity of the Moroccan people, men and women. And we have seen that people, now they are wearing their mask. We have a new culture, like in South Africa, wearing their mask. We have to keep, respecting the social distancing. It's important, and I think that. So one country alone, Sisanda, cannot solve the issue. We have to work together. Work together, plan together, and this is, I think, is our policy that we want to change. And I see also in South Africa, we are in South Africa, I'm ambassador here. I love this country. I love the people. I see you are fighting also. It's not easy everywhere. It's not easy because we are all targeted by this pandemic, and we need to find the solutions to move forward.
Well, His Excellency, I don't know if you know him, one of our well-known celebrities here, although he has passed on. You lived in Morocco back in the days. I don't know if you know Hugh Masekela. You know, he was, a musician.
Yes, yes,
you know,
yes.
He played
He
stayed in Morocco back in the days.
Morocco is a country of interaction. Music is very important.
Yes.
Because now when I say people to people, I was talking about musicians, and he mixed, because the jazz, the reggae, the African music with the Gnawa, because Morocco Gnawa's music is some music which is coming from our southern, because we are Africans, not only by geography, but by culture, by history, and we have also, and by music, and we have all this combination between the Gnawa, which is African rhythms, and the Andalusian. Andalusian is the flamenco, because the Moroccans, the Arabs were more than 6th century in Andalusia in Spain. So this mixture makes this beautiful music that we used, to listen, and some to dance, So this makes also one of the more aspects, the most important aspects is the intercultural dialogue between, because at the end of the day, what is important is that we share the same values for solidarity, empathy, love, respect for the other, and peace. She was saying at the beginning, Sisanda, that the issue of peace and security is essential. So we need to solve the ongoing conflicts today in the region. We need also something. You are today safe, but I said that a few months ago, terrorism and violent extremism. And today, even South Africa, with some responsibles are talking about this threat. Mozambique, you never know what will happen. So we have to continue to talk, to explain, and to deconstruct all the jihadist narrative. And this narrative is through exchange of ideas, music, culture.
You have actually already mentioned now towards the question that I was going to be asking you in terms of the role of Morocco in, we know that it has been playing, or Morocco has been playing a pivotal role in, uniting a lot of other African countries. Do you believe that maybe you have done enough so far as a country, playing that role in the middle of being, a peacemaker, a negotiator, and it has already been a harbor to so many people and countries?
Thank you very much, Sisanda, for asking this question. I think we have done, but never is enough. We have to continue working, because our country, our continent is facing a lot of challenges. Today, I know it is a morning show, but let me talk about two issues. Libya, which is today in the agenda, and Sahel. I mean the Mali and so on. These are conflicts that are in the agenda of the African Union, and Morocco is trying to bring solutions and reconciliation on the basis of 3 parameters: the reconciliation, the peaceful resolution of conflict, and the respect of territorial integrity of states. Right. Now, I want to say one idea. Military intervention, security are not enough to solve the ongoing conflict in Libya. Because how can you defeat Boko Haram? Only through military intervention or security arrangement? No. You need to work on the mindsets, to deconstruct the jihadist narrative, and this is what we call the religious soft power diplomacy in combating this threat. Now we need also, one of the biggest conflicts today is Libyan. It's in the agenda of the UN, of the African Union. So we need to bring people together to sit, because Libya it's a very important country in North Africa, looking over the Mediterranean and Europe, but also linked to Sahel. So we need to have all the parties on board to discuss, to find the solution on the basis of these 3 parameters I told you before: reconciliation, respect of territorial integrity of states, and try to be a honest broker to help the Libyans themselves to find the solution for their conflict. So this is the philosophy of Morocco, what we have been. We are one of the majors in the history of Africa as far as peacekeeping operation. We have been everywhere in Africa because we think peace should be one of the cornerstone of our action in Africa. I think.
And tomorrow you're celebrating Independence Day in Morocco. What does
Throne Day. Throne Day.
Throne Day.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So what does that mean to the Moroccan people, and what is Throne Day specifically?
Well, it shows the cement between the monarchy and the nation and the people.
Okay.
And you know, one people don't know why Throne Day. The Throne Day was a creation or proposal of the Moroccan freedom fighters against colonialism.
Yeah.
And they want to show their commitment with the king, because the king was he represents the unity of the country and the fight, like here, the fight against colonialism, French colonialism and Spanish colonialism in Morocco. So the king was, this was the starting block of that. So for the Throne Day is a day where the king makes a very important speech, you know, that outlines what has been done in the country on the year. Then there are a lot of festivities, and one of the major festivities is the allegiance ceremony.
Yeah.
Why? Because Morocco was ancient, old country, and at that time the relations between the king, the sovereignty relations between the king and the different tribes of Morocco was through this allegiance ceremony on the Throne Day. They come, they pay respect to the king, and of course, because he represents the unity, the independence, and of the country.
Keeping your culture. Yeah, I like the fact that you're saying it's celebrating, or rather, it's fighting against colonialism. So
this is what the culture,
together.
and this makes the unity, strengthen the unity, and it is a cement that allows us to be able to build up a democratic. But today, there are not tribes, but there are different regions, different elected bodies, because we are today a democracy. Democracy. We have built up a democratic country, of course, and this all different sensibilities and organization of they celebrate this day to once again to say that Morocco, because today we need in Africa strong states. We need democratic states, because we cannot afford any more failed states, because this doesn't help for the development or the future of Africa.
Now let us talk about the fight against the pandemic of coronavirus.
Yes.
The role of Morocco, of course, in fighting against COVID-19 and of course in the entire African continent. You have already touched on some parts whereby you mentioned that Morocco has been distributing the PPEs or whatever else that was needed in other countries. But what do you think at this moment should be the role of other African countries in joining Morocco in the fight against COVID-19?
Okay, you have to do our own homework internally, each country, and then all together. 2 tracks strategy. I think now the big challenge, of course, people are working on the vaccine. It's essential.
Yes.
But I think what we should, as Africans, we should reinforce our health capacities. That's why I'm talking about Africa of health. We should encourage the research, because we are good Africans. You know, South Africa is a leader in medicine, so we can encourage research. And then the most important is to build up a prosperous Africa, because when you have job creation, when you have economic growth, when you have democracy, good governance, fight against corruption, you are moving forward. You build up a strong state, and the strong state can face these challenges. He cannot face them alone, and this is why Sisanda's question is interesting. We need to work together in a concerted approach, cooperation, coordination, coherence in the policies. Coherence policy, because you cannot save the health of young Africans from pandemic if you don't have a decent housing.
No, that's true.
Exactly.
So build up strong economies, resilient economies, fight against all these you know, there's a big debate today everywhere in Africa about the issue of corruption. Even the President Ramaphosa, he, in his last speech, he's the President of the African Union, and he talked about the necessity to work together to fight corruption, and to implement good governance. And he said that as President of the African Union, it is a strong message that, and a strong commitment to work together. This, we should, I think, not only exchange good practices, but work together, plan together, and we need for that a strong African Union.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm enlightened, you know, and I'm glad that now I know that you're celebrating, you know, the throne tomorrow. And
what are the things that, maybe if we were to look into that, what are the things that are most common that when you are celebrating the Drone Day, of course, this is what you do?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we have a big reception in all the embassies abroad, but today, because of the COVID, we cannot. So I'm celebrating. You will receive an invitation. I will invite you to drink a tea virtually and to eat some. I don't know how we can do, but anyhow, I'm inviting all the diplomatic corps virtually to celebrate with some messages. I'll learn from you 4 minutes video, and you can learn. But if both of you, if you are available in 2 days, we are celebrating the Eid al-Adha. It's one way. Eid al-Adha, this you are kindly, and she already been to my house, kindly invited to share with me, with the team of the embassy. We will be only because of the COVID, because I respect the COVID regulations. Then to share with you some Moroccan food that we cook for this special day. So if you want to go to Pretoria at 1 o'clock Friday, you're most welcome.
You had that, right?
No, I
don't leave
it,
right?
She
I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold Sisanda
for
to
sure.
it.
I wouldn't miss an invitation to His Excellency's lunches and whatever, because it's always proper. It's always like really good Moroccan.
For me, it is an occasion to share with you, and this is our culture. We have, when you share with someone that with whom you care, that if you're not in the same religion, but you share other things, you know. But even the religion they are the same values of love, of sympathy, of solidarity, and respect of the other. The most important parameter is the respect of other culture, and because this makes. That's why Morocco today was able to interact, because we are a diverse identity, plural cultural dimension. We are Arabs, Africans, we have Jew, Muslims, and this is, I think, Christians. Morocco, when you come to Morocco, you see mosques, you see churches, you see synagogues, and this is, and you can hear all these kind of sounds in the country. And this is, I think, it's the proper of the Moroccan identity.
I'm really enlightened, honestly speaking, and I'm actually, you know, I appreciate this moment, because when we see Moroccans, you know, especially with the way you dress, to us, you are some, you know, you people that, like, it's like you're in another world, you know. We look at your culture, we look at how you dress, so to me it's foreign, you know. But then now that I'm sitting here with you here, Excellency, I'm actually relating to you. I'm like, she's actually human, you know.
Yes, of course.
You know, the only difference.
He's an African, for that.
I'm an African.
He's an African.
I'm an African, you know, and Arab. I am very, proud of my plural identity. I can speak many languages. I am a Muslim.
And recently you can speak Zulu,
I Zulu this morning, you know. Of course, yes. And I learned this morning that in the car when I was saying, because I wanted to impress her, because she always impressed me, but this time I impressed her.
You did.
Of course,
I wanted to also, find out, Ambassador, in terms of, you have spoken quite very much about Africa taking its position and its identity. And I've been following quite a lot of things, a lot of speeches that you make about Africa doing its own, you know, its own evaluation and taking its own position and helping one another. They say charity begins at home.
Yes, exactly.
Why is it so important for you to see Africa taking its own position in the space?
Not only me. Today, and you are in South Africa, everybody is interested by our continent. China, America, Europe. I think we are on a major geopolitical turning point in Africa's towards development and prosperity.
Yes.
And I think I said earlier that we need a responsible and concerted continental management of this crisis.
Yes.
This is decisive if we want to move forward. We have to grasp all the issues to build up our health system, because our economics were impacted. Our health system were also impacted.
Yes.
So we need. So I think if I will say one sentence, I think, which summarize my response to your question, because we will emerge stronger from this crisis if three elements are essential. Unity prevails over division, solidarity over egoism, and lucidity over outdated
Sorry,
ideologies.
I didn't get the last one.
Lucidity, lucidity and serenity over outdated ideologies. We have to be good managers. We have to have everybody on board. Our women, again, if I start with women, I will finish with women. Our women must be on board, and we must work together to build this. I like this expression, which is used by President Ramaphosa. I own it now. Prosperous and audacious Africa. Prosperous because we need to create the health, everything, the wealth, and we have to be audacious with strong commitment, with good leadership to be able to move forward, because history is knocking at our doors. Whether we are at the level of the expectations of our young generation, or we lost the game. And we don't. I'm not a loser. I don't think you're a loser too. We need to. You need to. Galaxy TV must be a winner to move forward.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of competition in the field of media and TV.
Yes.
And there's also a lot of competition. African, you have European Union, the Americans, China, Russia.
Yes.
Everybody's interested by our continent, but we must take our future and our destiny in our hands to be able to move forward.
Yes.
And we have to be a key player at the international level. We need to change, and maybe not change, but reshape, revisit all these international instruments of the Bretton Woods, because they are outdated today. Security Council was not able to solve the ongoing conflicts.
Yes.
Even on the pandemic, the three, I'm sorry to say that it is coronavirus is a security issue. Is an issue that should be dealt with within the Security Council, because it's a security issue. It is a peace and security. It's linked. So 3 months, no action. So that's why we have to weigh on this international debate, to revisit, to reshape all these instruments that are outdated and that had to be to respond to the priorities of continents. And we have the future is in our hands, and we can be and human being, the human. That's why King Mohammed II always in his African policy thinks humanity first.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We are going to take a very short break. When we're coming back, we've got more news and updates for you here on Galaxy Universal Network. And this is Pan-African Morning. And must remind you as well that we are going to keep on showing you on what's happening at the funeral of the late Ubaba Umlangeni that has already commenced back in Soweto. So please do stay with us.
God is so amazing.
Feel the heat.
The Bible says that through his death on the cross, we are now reconciled with our Father.
Forgive and you shall be forgiven.
So wherever God takes us, we're just excited about it.
As a child of God, where you are, you must have an hour of prayer.
Feel the excitement.
In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus.
I believe that God is working right now.
Feel the heat with StarSat. Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful!
This is exactly what I was looking for!
DJ Khaled!
It is a day to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft.
That is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is.
Feeling is there that, you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
A revolutionary struggle veteran has fallen at the age of 95. We mourn the demise of one of the 8 Rivonia trialists.
Welcome back again. If you have just joined us, we welcome you. We're still broadcasting live in the Republic of South Africa in Midrand. And of course, on our studios, I'm not going alone, of course, as always. I'm with the Pan-African Queen right here next to me. And today, we are still with His Excellency, Mr. Youssef, Ambassador Youssef Amrani, all the way from Morocco, who's an ambassador in South Africa. Now, we were actually speaking earlier on about Africa taking its own stand and being able to stand on its own, on her own, because Africa is such a very good, big continent, as you've mentioned that other countries are paying a lot of attention to Africa. There's a lot of juice that they are drinking in Africa. Everybody wants a piece of Africa. Now we have had this video of this US-based Nigerian doctor that has been speaking quite very vocally about the usage of hydroxychloroquine, the malaria medicine, which actually it's been reported as well that Morocco has been using it in treating the patients. Maybe before I can pose the question, we would like to take a look at that visual and hear what Dr. Stella Emmanuel has to say about hydroxychloroquine.
I'm Dr. Stella Emmanuel. I'm a primary care physician in Houston, Texas. I actually went to medical school in West Africa, Nigeria, where I took care of malaria patients, treated them with hydroxychloroquine and stuff like that. So I'm actually used to these medications. I'm here because I have personally treated over 350 patients with COVID. Patients that have diabetes, patients that have high blood pressure, patients that have asthma, old people. I think my oldest patient is 92, 87-year-olds. And the result has been the same. I put them on hydroxychloroquine, I put them on zinc, I put them on Zitromax, and they are all well. For the past few months, I've taken care of over 350 patients. We've not lost one. Not a diabetic, not a somebody with high blood pressure, not somebody with asthma, not an old person. We've not lost one patient. And on top of that, I've put myself, my staff, and many doctors that I know on hydroxychloroquine for prevention, because by the very mechanism of action, it works early and as a prophylaxis. We see patients, 10 to 15 COVID patients every day. We give them breathing treatments. We only wear surgical masks. None of us has gotten sick. It works. So right now, I came here to Washington, D.C. to say, America, nobody needs to die. The study that made me start using hydroxychloroquine was a study that they did under the NIH in 2005 that say it works. Recently, I was doing some research about a patient that had hiccups, and I found out that they even did a recent study in the NIH, which is our National Institute, that is the National NIH, National Institute of Health. They actually had a study, and go look it up. Type hiccups and COVID, you will see it. They treated a patient that had hiccups with hydroxychloroquine, and it proved that COVID is a symptom of hiccups. It's a symptom of COVID. So if the NIH knows that treating the patient with hydroxychloroquine proves that hiccup is a symptom of COVID, then they definitely know that hydroxychloroquine works. I'm upset. Why I'm upset is that I see people that cannot breathe. I see parents walk in, I see diabetics sit in my office knowing that this is a death sentence and they can't breathe. And I hug them and I tell them it's going to be okay, you're going to live. And we treat them.
That is Dr. Stella Emanuels. Of course, she spoke quite virulently about the drug, of course, that is being used for malaria, and the fact that, you know, she doesn't believe that Americans need to die because the medicine is in there. I mean, her video was actually retweeted by President Donald Trump, and of course, she was mentioning things like, you know, people shouldn't be wearing masks and stuff, but it was since taken off the screens on Facebook as well, and Twitter. It was taken off after, of course, over 17 million views. What is your take on this?
Well, thank you for posing this question. Morocco uses chloroquine since the beginning to treat the coronavirus disease pandemic in Morocco. Not only we use it since the first minute to treat with it, but we produce. Our industry produces chloroquine. Three, in the support and the aid of the planes that went to Africa, we have conveyed a big amount of this medicine for our partners in Africa, because they get this treatment has given results in Morocco. That's why we have only 1% disease, people died from the coronavirus.
Was this medicine, Ambassador, sorry to cut you there, was it specifically produced for coronavirus? Or
no, it was, as Sisanda said, meant for, at the beginning, for malaria. But the Moroccan sanitary and medical community, you know, prescribed, I don't know how to say that in English. Prescribed, okay, for the corona, and it gives results. There was some resistance in Europe, but after that, a lot of doctors were using this medicine, and it gives some results.
Why is it, though, that a lot of, you know, European and, of course, some parts of Africa, they don't want to adopt this drug if it works?
Because there are, as you know, there are big economic interest in the pharmaceutical business, you know. So because people know there's a fight who's going to produce the vaccine first, and then he will have the, and then the big fight will start. That's why I was saying that we have our own capacities in Africa, like this case in Morocco. We need to count on our. We have to trust our doctors, our professors in medicine, because they can bring, you know, in tips. You know, the first operation, surgery, heart was made in South Africa.
Of course.
And it was successful. So we have the capacity to do so. We have to continue, you know, and I think that we have the capacity. As far as you have big leadership as Nelson Mandela, for example, who stayed in Morocco for years.
Yes.
You know, we have a great respect for this personality.
Yes.
We can produce, if I may say so, produce these leaders.
Is it produced out of a plant or herb, or what is it specifically?
For what I'm talking about
is it the hydro?
Yes, but yeah, it is a medicine that is known to treat the malaria, but it gives some results for
good results for COVID. For
coronavirus. This was our protocol that we treated with, and we have conveyed and we have sent within this sanitary aid to our brothers and sisters in Africa this kind of medicine, which I hope will be also used to treat the people who are with this disease.
It takes us back again into us working together as Africans to say, let us not be influenced about what's happening outside of Africa, and maybe take the stand, as you have always rightly said, that Africa needs to take control of its own destiny. Now, your message is now not as an ambassador, but as Mr. Amran to the people of Africa. What is your message that you want the people of Africa to hold?
We have the capacity, the intelligence, and maybe not the tools to overcome all the challenges.
Yes.
And the same message, work together, plan together, and be solidar to each other. One. Two, second message, role of women essential, crucial. And the young generation for job creation. These are, along with the health,
I'm Dr. Stella Emmanuel. I'm a primary care physician
for our
in Houston, Texas.
And I will finish with one point I didn't tackle it during this intervention this morning, is regional integration. We have to. Of course, we cannot. We have ambitious projects like the free trade of Africa. This is a big project, but work on regional integration schemes, like in SADC, in ECOWAS, in CEMAC. Unfortunately, at the level of our region of the Maghreb, we were not able. We have some difficulties with our brothers from Algeria of the coast of the Sahara issue. But I think this issue will be solved because there is today a process at the UN, at the Security Council, which provides for and that encourages the autonomy plan, which was presented by Morocco. Because again, here we have to work together in unity to face the challenges. And Morocco is committed within this, like I said in the Libyan case, compromise solution, reconciliation, peace, stability, respect of territorial integrity of state, and this we can move together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. I'm very enlightened indeed, and it is an honor to have you right here on the Pan-African Morning Show. And then one thing that I'm definitely taking is when Ambassador said the role of women is essential. So thank you so much. Mukhai, so we will be taking a very short break. When we come back, we're coming back with more news and updates. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was happy to be here.